Good. Now everybody in this room can say it. We are healthy people. We are healthy people.
For centuries, our people lived successfully on our land. In spring, summer, and fall, we gathered food and medicines, hunted and fished. We dried and smoked food to sustain us through the winter, and enjoyed long evenings of storytelling, which ensured all learned our history, values, and traditions. Then the Europeans arrived. We were generous in the early years of contact with them, sharing our knowledge and goods to help them survive on our lands. But within a few decades, changes occurred that stripped us of our dignity, resulting in profound pain from which we're still healing. We were decimated by diseases which took many of our precious elders, who are knowledge keepers for our way of life. And when the federal and provincial governments took over, they drove us from our lands and restricted our ability to harvest our foods, and subjected us to the view of the world and the earth that conflicted with our beliefs and customs. They controlled all aspects of our lives, our social structures, our education, and our health. The racist, dehumanizing Indian policies and legislation enacted by governments dramatically diminish our traditions, our language, our rights, and all aspects of our way of life, while alienating us from our lands. They stripped us of our dignity, resulting in a profound pain from which we're still healing.
Yeah, I grew up in Chuchua, and as a young person was a witness to a lot of the negative effects of addictions. I guess low self-esteem. There was violence. There was a lot of drinking, alcohol mainly, and it was really had a destructive impact on the community and on the families. But as I grew up, there was certainly was aware of the development of groups within the community that were really intent on making the place a better place for us. There was a group called the Redstone Society for women that came together and sponsored community events and dinners and activities of all different kinds involving culture and recreation. So it was, and that was a real positive impact.
We had a number of members in our community that wanted that, to have a healthy community, hence the Healthy Community Committee. And we had individuals that go out and patrol at nighttime, to see if there's different things going on at night, people driving around, whether it's drinking or driving, or, just trying to find, different ways to support the community.
It was separate a fair bit from the band council. I was on the council, or chief at the time, and I really supported community groups such as the St. Health Authority to carry on the responsibilities for health care in the community and have its own programs, and that's the way it's been for many years now.
You might call them formal, they're not. Actually, they're very direct instructions to us as a health board, right? This is what we want to see. So the health board will come up with our health managers to say, okay, let's take each one of these and say, all right, this is what we see people want. How can we develop a program to fit into this meeting want? We'll come up with something and we'll talk about it. We'll hatch it out, because everything at the health board All decisions are consensus-based.
Leadership doesn't have all the answers to everything. So having strategic planning in these information sessions, gathering the information from our community members really helps us in what we do and where we see the community is at. Council supports those initiatives. They support community-based decision making.
I think everyone has a different opinion, and being heard from different people and elders and the youth too. Youth is important because that's where they're going to be our future leaders.
I think it's getting more ideas in working with the people and what they want, rather than us telling them what they should have, because a lot of times that's what the governments do.
The Simpcw Health Program is a community-based service provider within the Simpcw First Nation, and we provide services to the members and community members living in Simpcw First Nation. We offer a wide variety of holistic health and wellness services, including services that are parallel to the public health system, like community-based nursing, pre- and postnatal care, communicable disease control, which includes immunization programs, a medical transportation program to support our community members to get to and from specialist appointments and medical appointments. We also have a wellness program that incorporates community activities and also supports individuals who want to go for treatment services. So we have a treatment program that provides aftercare support and follow-up. We also have youth programming and elders programming, and we have a really fully functioning Head Start program for our kiddos from 0 to 6. We've had some really big successes in our program. We put a lot of emphasis on rebuilding families and really focusing a lot on supporting parents. We had a snowboarding team, and we supported the funding of the program and the transportation of getting the kids to and from the mountains. But we realized that we weren't really supporting family involvement. So we changed our protocols and our practices and really required the parents to be involved. What we found was that 100% of our parents participated. And the really exciting part was these parents then also started to take snowboarding classes and skiing lessons.
And it's really working. You got good results, you got good staff, our stats are great, our reports are excellent, exemplary, and certainly feel that the community has been supported by its membership. We don't depend on anyone else to come in and provide instruction about what we should be doing, and we have the authority there to oversee it.
I think just supporting those, talking about the generational, going from, my grandparents to my mom and to myself and to my kids, passing along those healthy ways of living and, things that we learned growing up was huge. We learned, especially in the last few years, learned more of it from, residential school. Some adults didn't learn how to love because they just never had that.
The current process is a delegated model. So we have delegated responsibilities and authorities from the federal government and from the BC First Nations Health Authority. In the future, we're looking for independent, autonomous kinds of arrangements so that we're not being delegated authority and responsibility, but our responsibility will come from our inherent right to self-determination and self-governance. And we set the rules and decide on how those rules are going to be implemented.
growing up and learning more about the intergenerational traumas, seeing why things were they were, and knowing that that my children will never have to experience those things. I'm really happy about that, and I think a lot of it has to do with our health of the community and the programs and services that are provided for our community as well. And also too, the ownership that we give to our members as well.
Well, I envision a community that's just really striding forward with, the heads held high, getting a seat with our young people now. They are really starting to get an appreciation for who they are.
Hear those different voices from our elders in the back of our mind when we're moving forward because of the teachings that they shared with us. There's nothing that we can't do. There's absolutely nothing that we can't do.
The best advice I can give is really listen and honor your community members, because truly they're the ones who are receiving the service, and their voices should be what you're doing all of your planning on.
I think if there's any lessons that I learned was don't ask permission from anybody. Act, don't talk about it, but and get organized and have a plan and talk about it in the community and get community support and move ahead.
We're always talking about our annual plan and moving forward, and that's something that we will always continue to do because it's in our nature to do that. Having that council support, having that staff support is huge as well. When we have an initiative, we carry it forward.
One of probably the biggest things is listen to what the people want instead of telling them what they want.